Did you know that for this show, the headband that Daniel wears is the actual headband from The Karate Kid? It was given to Ralph Macchio after the completion of the first film. So I am super happy with how part 2 wrapped up, and there's so much that happened in these last 4 episodes. So much I gotta talk about, so I'm gonna get right into everything I liked about the rest of part 2 of season 6. First thing I liked is we went from Miyagi Do and everybody being off balance to everyone finally being balanced. There's a lot of character growth that happens throughout these last few episodes that led to more balance, that led to everyone just dealing with what they had to deal with, making up with friends, making up with whatever they had to make up for, getting their mojo back, getting that Miyagi Do mojo back, because it's exactly what they needed. They needed to get their act together because they knew that they were all performing terribly for a lot of reasons, and they knew the only way they were going to be Cobra Kai and the Iron Dragons and everybody else is they had to get their balance back. And they got it back, and that was just a really solid part. Next, I got my wish that Terry Silver came back. I had a feeling we would see him at one point or another, and also was right that he was behind the Iron Dragons, the financing, all of that. He started playing his mind games again. He started screwing around with things, making things happen, and just, it was great seeing him finally interact with Kreese, because they haven't interacted since, I don't know, it's been a while. It's been a while since they've last interacted. They have a lot of bad blood between them now. They're no longer friends. And also, I'm really glad that I also got to see a little bit more backstory into Sensei Wolf, his relationship with Terry Silver, and I was just really happy that that was just something I really wanted to know. I got my wish. These last 4 episodes definitely answered a lot of my wishes and hopes I had. There's so much more I want answered after seeing the finale. And I'm so happy that Robby finally stepped up. He got out of his head. He started being a leader. Miguel has that leadership in him too. He knows what he has to do. He knows how to lead people. But he realized that, he wasn't captain. And he was humble enough and man enough to allow Robby to face his mistakes, give him the harsh truth that Robby needs to hear. Really great character arcs there, really great developments there. Honestly, there wasn't that much I didn't like about these last 4 episodes. Really, the only one is I felt that when Chosen and Cam made out and they hooked up and all that, I think that was a very weird choice. I found it a little bit cringy. I'm okay with them teaming up, like I was totally okay with that. I think it was a good idea, but it low-key felt really weird and awkward, and I just wasn't a fan of it because everyone else was hooking up, right? So you gotta get Chosen to hook up with someone because he's heartbroken over Kumiko and whatever. So that was the only thing I didn't like. And then my favorite moment and episode is easily episode 10, and also the brawl that happened in that episode has now become my favorite Cobra Kai moment of all time. My favorite Cobra Kai moment was from season 2, the epic school fight, and I didn't think anything could ever top that, but then the brawl happened in this last episode, and it just completely blew away how crazy that school fight was. It made me kind of forget about how crazy that was, because this was like the school fight on steroids, just so much going on, and we got to see so many different fights happening. It was chaos, but at the same time it was organized chaos. And then how this final episode ended, I was lost for words. I knew there was going to be some huge ending, some big thing that was going to happen. I didn't see it really being a tragic ending, but I also remembered, like, they talked about the Sekai Taikai. Mike Barnes even said, people had died in this tournament, and when we found out more about Mr. Miyagi and his past, and he was in the Sekai Taikai, his opponent died, so I'm like, okay, maybe there is some foreshadowing there, and I don't know how they're going to handle it. I don't know how they handled it back when it happened in the 1940s with Mr. Miyagi, but the Sekai Taikai kept going when Mr. Miyagi supposedly killed his opponent, so the Sekai Taikai most likely is going to continue with the death of a certain character. I always like to have some theories when it comes to what's next, but I do not have any theories of what could happen next because it was such a shock. It was such an unexpected thing that happened. I'm trying to figure out a logical way that they would move past what happened, a logical way for them to still fight, for them to still finish up the Sekai Taikai and give everyone a chance to still win the championship. But I don't know. It's very exciting. It's very intriguing. February 13th cannot come fast enough. That is when part 3 will be coming out. But after what happened during the karate brawl and what happened in Kwan, it also throws up everybody's future. I mean, there's so many futures that are on the line here that they put so much into the outcomes of Seikai Taikai, and I'm sure none of them thought it was going to happen like this. And then, like I said, the Seikai Taikai will probably keep going as it always has, but I think because of what happened, they might do something drastic. There might be something crazy that could happen with the Seikai Taikai. For all I know, they might cancel it completely. They might never host it again. That may never happen again. Or they just implement more rules and make it safer. So I have no idea what's going to happen there, but there is so much on the line. There are so many things that need to be addressed, but I can tell you I'm so excited for what is going to happen. And I'm just open to whatever. Like, I am ready for whatever happens, because this show has been one of my favorite shows in a very long time. So I'm all the way 110% invested in the outcome of the finale of part 3. So for the final episode of Cobra Kai Season 6, I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10 Mudflaps. Remember, leave me a thumbs up and drop in the comments below. What are your hopes for part 3? See you next time.